Hey everyone, it's me Ian. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my Christmas doll repaint. This is the concept sketch I drew at the end of October, and the final doll didn't end up quite like this, but the theme or the idea was that she was going to be Christmas tree themed. And I started off with a Frankie Stein doll. She's kind of creepy and Halloweeny, but we're gonna make it work for Christmas. First step was to remove this weird sponge thing that she had glued to her head. She sort of had a bumped up updo, and I wanted to take that sponge out of her head. I figured that her hair would be kind of thin because of the ponytail, but we were making it even thinner by ripping out all the black hair because black hair is not very Christmassy. But before I finished ripping out all the black hair, I sewed up her dress. So I started with a quarter circle skirt, I guess, but it was tied up above her bust, so I guess a quarter circle dress. It's not very fitted, but a Christmas tree is not very shapely. It's just a triangle. But I did manage to get all the black out of her hair after I sewed up the under part of her dress. And then I removed her face makeup. I'm kind of all over the place in this process, I guess because I hate sewing, so I was kind of stalling and procrastinating the sewing process by plucking out her black hair and removing her factory paint. Of course, I use acetone. You can use nail polish remover, but it's a lot harder than using acetone, pure acetone. And even still, pure acetone sometimes takes a few goes if the factory paint is super stubborn. But I got it off. And after I did that, I needed to do some serious work on her hair because it was super gunky. And I guess whatever they used to get it into that updo was very stubborn, and so I used Dawn dish detergent to degrease it, and I used Downy fabric softener, and it was softer, but it still kind of had a slimy, greasy texture, and you can see, yeah, the hair's pretty thin, but we'll address that later. We're going to get back to the dress, so I'm going to make it look voluminous, so I sewed up all of these ruffles and attached them in layers to the dress. And then at the top, I basically just sewed a band to be, I guess, like the bust line of the dress. So here's what that looks like. I was fairly satisfied with this, but I did tweak it later, which I did off camera. So to make her hair look fuller, since I plucked out all the black, I decided to replace it with tinsel hair, and I thought, yeah, she's a Christmas tree, so tinsel will be a great choice. I got this tinsel off of Amazon. It was only a few bucks. I think it was like $6, and I got like a ton of hair tinsel. I thought it was going to be one package, but it was like I accidentally bought hair tinsel in bulk. So, yeah, I guess if I want to tinselfy my hair, I have that option now. But I thought that, it would be a cute look, but I stabbed it into her head and I trimmed it off later. Okay, but we got to figure out what to do with her body. This mint green color is not giving Christmas tree. I was originally going to just kind of blush around the joints and make them a darker green, but I sprayed Mr. Super Clear on her body. I buffed it first with a nail buffer, and that kind of roughed up the surface, and then used Mr. Super Clear. But I didn't spray it very evenly, so I wound up doing like 4 coats of the body paint, and it wound up being kind of thick. So the stitches that Frankie Stein has, I decided to turn into strings of Christmas lights, like super festive Christmas tattoos. And I gotta be honest, this is probably one of my favorite details of the whole doll. And unfortunately, it's mostly covered up by her dress, but I colored in them with watercolor pencil, and then I went over them with Posca pens to make them pop, and so the color pencil kind of makes the glow around the light, and the Posca pen is the light itself. It looks really cute, actually, and it's a regret of mine that the dress covers most of these details up. I used a metallic Posca pen to be kind of like the caps on the tops of the lights. This effect, like I said, this is one of my favorite like little details, and it turned out really, really cute. But I wound up, like I said, doing 4 layers of the body pastel to get this nice dark green color of her skin for her body. And I think I probably could have built it up and made it more opaque and more even tone, but really, honestly, guys, I didn't want to bother with it. I probably could have, it's like one of those things, I could have added 20 layers, and it's like, would I still have been totally satisfied? I don't know, maybe, but I think 4 layers was sufficient to make it even enough, especially, like I said, since most of this will be covered by her outfit anyway. But that's how you do it. You have to buff it first, then spray it with Mr. Super Clear, and then go in with the chalk pastel to even up the skin tone. So there she is. There's her body all done. Next, okay, we're going to do the fun part, the part that I actually like, which is the face. And so first things first, I kind of had to match the face to the body. Her face is lighter than her body, but that's good because I wanted the details to pop on her face. So I just blushed around the edges of her face, or shaded, I guess you could say, with this dark green color. I guess it's kind of like her contour. And I think that the color is incredibly festive. So for her face, I don't know. My concept sketch was sort of leaning towards what I wanted to do, but basically I wanted her face, like I wanted her eyes to be reminiscent of ornaments. And actually they really weren't reminiscent of ornaments. I basically just made them ornaments. One thing about this doll is that I didn't want to go with the cliche of red and green. I wanted it to be green, gold, silver. And so for her blush, instead of using pink or red, I used purple, just to avoid the red and green cliche. So on the first layer of her face, you know, I sprayed with Mr. Super Clear before going with the pastels and the watercolor pencils. On this layer, we're just starting to build up colors, and I'm sketching out an idea of what I want her facial expression to look like. So her eyes are kind of oblong shaped, and on the corners of her eyes I did this little detail that looks like the cap of an ornament, like the part where you put the hook to hang it on the tree. And later I go in with, you know, acrylic paints to really bring out those details, and you will be able to see the ornament cap detail. It's like her, instead of a winged eyeliner, I did a little ornament cap. Her irises, I didn't give her pupils. I don't know. I think like on these dolls, the pupils don't really speak to me. So a lot of times I just go with a pupilless look. Her irises are going to be silver and gold. And on camera here, they kind of look brown. But in some of the results photos, which you'll get to see later, the gold really does pop. And I decided to do a gold lip for her as well. I painted her sclera, her eye whites, actually kind of a bluish white, so that I could add white reflections later to try and give it a sort of 3D ornament-like look, like they're shiny. And I kind of wish that instead of making the sclera or the eye whites bluish tinted, I wish I had done greenish tint, so that they would look like they were reflecting off of the green on a tree. You know, if you have like a white ornament on a green tree, the white ornament will reflect the green. But that wasn't something I thought about until after the doll was done. So it's like impossible to make an art project without some regrets. But you can see the acrylic paint layer really like brings the doll to life and makes the details pop. I decided to give her gold freckles because I couldn't resist, and I feel like the gold freckles on her face are kind of picking up on the tinsely vibe that her hair has too. So to me, yeah, gold trim on a green tree is just so classic. Next, I had this crown. This was the crown that the Frankie Stein doll came with. The Frankie Stein was originally like sewing themed. I don't know what line this was from originally, but I decided to repaint the crown and turn the like pins, because like they were like sewing pins and ribbon, turn the pins and ribbons into like another light string, like the tattoos on her body. I also picked up these shoes from just like a bulk bag that I bought on Amazon like years and years and years ago, and decided to paint them a matching gold to go with the crown. So I painted it gold first, and then I picked up some details later. So I'm doing her like black eyeline here. This is the final layer of her face, which is barely captured on camera because I'm so bad at making sure that it's in frame. That's something that I'll need to work on in the future. But yeah, we're continuing to paint the crown. I brightened up the gold on it because it was looking a little dull. And here we go. I'm painting the tops of these little pins with different colors, like the same Posca that is on her body. Blue, yellow, orange, and red. And then I'm painting what was ribbons on the crown green to kind of be like the string of the lights. And there it is done. I think that this was a really cool detail. And now it's time to look at the finished results. I put the whole doll together. There's a couple of details I added afterward, like some jingle bells that I sewed onto the dress at her waist. And then I gave her some puffy sleeves. I just sewed more ruffles like I did with the layers of the skirt and tacked it onto the top of the dress to give her some sleeves, because I thought it needed a little more drama on the top, and I think the sleeves make it look a little bit more wintry. I stole this present ornament off of the tree in my bedroom and put a string around it to make a little handbag for her, so in some of the shots she has a little Christmas present handbag. But anyway, that is the doll complete. It's a pretty quick doll repaint video, even though in real life it takes several hours. But I hope you enjoy, and I had to take a shot of her with her dress hiked up so you can see her little Christmas-like tattoo on her leg. Anyway, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for watching this video and for hanging out with me on my YouTube channel this year. Hopefully we will have more fun in 2024, and I can't wait to share with you guys maybe some New Year's resolutions and more art projects. So I'll catch you later. Bye!